learning, we have three different kinds of frameworks. First one is the Theano, and second one is the TensorFlow, and third one is the PyTorch. So whenever you want to work on deep learning, you can use any one of these three platforms. So here, coming to this TensorFlow, here it is developed by Google Brain. So here it is developed by Google community, and it is a very faster framework to work on deep learning concepts. So here it is the fastest framework to work with. Yeah, wait a minute. Okay, it's a very faster framework to work on deep learning. So another one is a PyTorch. So here it is developed by Facebook community. So those who are working on Facebook, so they developed this thing. So that is PyTorch. Whereas coming to our course, here we are discussing with TensorFlow only. So before working on this TensorFlow, we need to install this module in our laptop. Initially, we need to install this module in our laptop. So to install this module in your laptop, better to go with Python organization website. So if you want to install this thing, better to go in Python organization official website. So in official website, so based on your system, you might install the required platform to you. Like if you are using Windows, you can install Windows version, or else if you are working on Ubuntu, you can install the version which is related to the Ubuntu. Whereas if you are, so if you feel you are a little bit lazy, so then enter this command in your laptop. So if you are using Anaconda, open Anaconda prompt and enter this command, conda install TensorFlow. So here TensorFlow space. So here we need to install recent version, that is Python equals to 3.7. So here we are using Python 3.7 version. So if you want to install this Anaconda, sorry, TensorFlow framework in your laptop, you need to use this command. Conda install TensorFlow Python equals to 3.7 version. We need to specify this command if you want to install the recent upgraded version of TensorFlow. So here, next one is the Keras framework. So here, if you want to work or if you want to perform any computations on the deep learning, at the back end of TensorFlow, we have Keras. So here, it is a computational toolkit of this TensorFlow framework. So here, if you want to install this thing, here it is a command. So if you enter this command in your Anaconda prompt, if it is returns like pip not found, if it returns error like pip not found, then try this command in your laptop. Conda install pip. Initially, try to install pip in your laptop. Conda install pip. So if you want to install Python install package in the Anaconda platform, so here it is a command. After installing this command, if you want to install Keras, you can install by using this command, or else if you want to install this thing by using direct command, that is conda install Keras. You want to install Keras directly, so here it is a command conda install Keras. If you enter this thing directly, this Keras computational toolkit will be installed at the back end of this TensorFlow. So here, this is the way to install on TensorFlow. So whereas if you want to install this TensorFlow by using pip command also, you can do that thing. So here, how to install this thing by using pip command? So here, pip install upgrade TensorFlow. If you want to install this TensorFlow by using pip command, so here it is the command pip install. So hyphen upgrade. So here we need to upgrade TensorFlow. So here it is the command to install TensorFlow in your laptop. So here these are the different ways to install TensorFlow as well as Keras. These two are the essential modules to work on this deep learning concept. So here initially what we need to do, so first few steps will be similar to the machine learning only. So first step, so here I did first time this thing by using basic approach. After that I will divide this entire project into step-by-step approach. So here it is a very simplistic approach. And in this, I specify different parameters and attributes present in this deep learning concept. So initially what we need to do, initially we need to install essential libraries. After, after installing essential libraries, we need to import our basic libraries. So here I am importing all the basics libraries. Here also I want to follow same process. So here I am importing TensorFlow as so. So here it is a way to import TensorFlow module. So here I'm importing TensorFlow as TF. And after importing this module, I want to see the version of TensorFlow. So whenever you want to see the version of any module, so here module name dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore. So here it is a command to see the version of any module. So if you want to see pandas version also same thing, pd dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore. That is a command to see the version of any module which is present in your laptop. So coming to this TensorFlow module. So whenever you want to work with the Keras at the backend, so backend of this TensorFlow, if you want to work with the Keras module, we need to have version above 2.0. So we need to have version above 2.0. So please, can you please keep your microphones in mute mode? I'm getting a lot of disturbance from you guys. So please try to understand me. Okay? Because of one or two people, everyone will get disturbed. Okay. Done. So here it is a command to see the version of it is a command to see the version of the TensorFlow. So here I'm using version of 2.1.0. So if you want to work with the Keras at the backend, we need to have version above 2.0. So here we have above 2.0 only, so that we can easily work with the Keras module. So here after importing essential libraries, I want to read my data set. So here I'm reading my data set. So I want to do same thing here also. So here I am using churn modeling.csv. So here it is one data set which I have. So I am importing that data set. After importing the data set, I want to see the behavior of that data set. For that purpose, I am importing top 5 rows corresponding to that data set. So here I have data set so in my data set I have these columns. So based on these columns, I want to predict whether the person stayed in the bank or exited from the bank. So if the person exited from the bank, that means output is 1. So if the person stays in the bank, the output is 0. So based on these features, we need to predict whether the person exited bank or stayed in the bank. So here it is a classification problem. So initially, we will implement the classification model by using deep learning. So here I said 3 colon minus 1. So here it means I am including the rows. So here we need to divide our data set in the form of inputs and as well as outputs. So here I'm considering all the rows, and coming to the columns, I am using columns from third column to last column. So here last column minus 1 is nothing but last column, whereas I am excluding this last column. I am excluding this last column. So from this, I want to take input as x and I want to take output as y. So here I'm running this portion. Here also I want to do same thing. So here I said 3 colon 13, which is nothing but from the third column to 12th column, I want to consider as inputs. So from this, I want to take values. After that, I want to consider 13th column as output column. So here we performed this step. After this, we saw the top 5 rows present in the data frame. After that, I want to observe the data which is present in the input, that is X. So here it is the data which is present in X. That is nothing but it is an input data or input data only. And if you see the output, it is in the form of categorical manner, that is in the form of 101s only. So after this, what we need to do? So here we have gender column. So if you observe this data set, in the input itself, we consider this gender column also. Based on the gender also, so we can say whether the person is exited the bank or not. We need to consider this parameter also, gender parameter also. So coming to this gender, we have only two genders in this data frame. So one is female gender, another one is a male gender. So here we need to convert. So to get the optimum result, so machines cannot understand string data. To make understand the machine this data, here we are converting the data in the form of numbers. So here by applying label encoder, I am converting that data in the form of 10s. So here for the purpose from the pre-processing, I am importing label encoder. So here I'm creating object with the specific class, and on the specific column in this data set, on the second column, I am applying this thing. Second column is nothing but here gender column only. On the gender column, I'm applying label encoder. So whenever you apply label encoder, so here I fit transformer this thing. That means I converted this specific column with the zeros and ones. So here 0 means female, 1 means male. So here I fitted and transformed that entire column. So if you observe this X data, so here that will be replicated here. If you observe here, we have male female kind of data, whereas if you observe here, we have values in the form of 0 and 1s. So here we have output in the form of 0 and 1s. So here 0 is nothing but female, 1 is nothing but male. So here that is about label encoder. So if you observe this data set clearly, we have countries column also. So here we have geography column. In the geography column, we have more than 3 features. So here we have France, Spain, Germany also. So here we need to convert those features also in the form of someone think it in the chart. So here, yeah, good question. When to use one hot encoder? So for that simple answer is, so here we have only two categories. Whenever you have two categories, label encoder is more than enough. So in any data set, if we have only two categories, label encoder is more than enough. Whereas in your data, so if you have more than two categories, if you have three categories or four categories, on such cases, label co-encoder is not sufficient. If you apply label encoder, it will categorize the data in the form of 0, 1, 2, 3. So here, that is not a very very good sign. So here, whenever you have more than two categories, we need to use one hot encoder. So if you want to know about one hot encoder in the pre-processing template, I explained you about this one hot encoder. Once watch that video so that you will get clarity of this thing. So whenever you have more than three categories in any feature, we need to use one hot encoder. So for this problem, here I am applying one hot encoder. So in the geography column, we have three country names. So for that purpose, here I am using one hot encoder. So here I want to convert the entire first column. So I want to apply on the first column, I want to apply this one hot encoder. So after applying one hot encoder, I want to see the data. I want to fit transform that X data. So here, whenever you fit transform this data, that entire single column will be converted in the form of three columns. So I explained you that thing in the previous sessions. So in the data preprocessing template session itself, I will explain you this thing. So if you are forget that thing, once recap that video. So here we pre-processed entire data set. So here we pre-processed that entire data set. Here also I did that entire thing in single step. So here we pre-processed that entire data set. After pre-processing this entire data set, I want to observe the data which is present in X. So here it is the pre-processed data. After pre-processing entire data set, what we need to do? We need to split our data set in the form of training and test set. So here to split the data set in the form of train test split, here we need to use model selection family. So from the model selection family, we have train test split class. So here we are importing this train test split class from this model selection. So after that, we are splitting our data set in the form of training and test set. So here I am considering a 20% of data to test the algorithm working, and remaining 80% of data I am considering to train the machine. So here, whenever you work on deep learning concept, we should feature scale each and every parameter to get the output in faster manner. Always we need to perform feature scaling. Remember this thing. So here you already aware of this feature scaling. Whenever we want to perform feature scaling, we need to go to pre-processing module. In this we have standard scalar. So here we are importing standard scalar. By using the standard scalar, I am scaling each and every feature. So here not only standard scalar, we have lot of measures. We have min max scalar. We will see that scalar min max scalar in the next project. So here I am importing all the here I am scaling each and every feature. So here I am fitting and transforming the training data, whereas coming to the test set, here directly I'm transforming the data only. I'm not fitting and transforming. Here from this training data, we need to train the machine. So for that purpose, we need to fit transform this data. Whereas here coming to test data, always we need to transform the data only. We need not to fit transform this data. Remember this thing. It's a very important thing. So after this, here also I want to do same thing. So here it is we are getting feature warning. That is not an error. That is a feature warning only. So here also I am applying feature scaling only. So after applying this feature scaling step, I want to apply deep learning concepts. I want to apply deep learning concepts. So whenever you want to apply deep learning, at the back end of the TensorFlow, we need to use Keras module. At the back end of the TensorFlow framework, we need to use Keras module. So for that, we need to import Keras. So here we need to import Keras. After that, we need to construct a neural network. We need to construct a neural network, which we saw previously. So we saw different neurons, such kind of thing. So for that purpose, we need to construct different neural networks. So whenever you want to construct neural networks, we need to import sequential. Whenever you want to construct a artificial neural networks from the Keras models family, we need to import sequential. So After that, what we need to say, we need to specify different layers name. So how many inputs you want to consider, and how many hidden nodes you want to consider inside the hidden layers. So if you want to specify such kind of things inside the sequential, we need to use dense function. So here dense is a method which is used to specify the different layers. So here I am importing all these things. So after importing this thing, I am running this portion. So whenever you run this portion, it is returning output like easing TensorFlow at the back end. So whenever you work on Keras, it will be works always at the back end of the TensorFlow only. Sorry. So TensorFlow will be present at the back end of this computational library only. So here, in this case, I am specifying the TensorFlow also. So here, I want to initialize the artificial neural network. So for that purpose, what I am doing, I want to import sequential. Whenever you want to initialize the artificial neural networks, we need to specify the sequential model. So from the TensorFlow, from the TensorFlow at the backend, I want to use Keras. In the Keras models, I want to use sequential. So here I'm using sequential. So after this, what we need to do? So here we need to add one input layer. So here initially we need to add one input layer. So here after importing this layer, we need to create an object with the specific class, that is sequential. We are creating object and we are keeping it. So here it is the classification problem. Here I'm saying classifier equals to sequential. So here I'm saying classifier equals to sequential. After saying this thing, what we need to do? So here we need to specify one layer. We need to add one layer in the algorithm. We need to add one layer. Whenever you want to add layer, we need to use dense function. So here in the sequential model, sequential dot add, we need to add one layer. So for that purpose, here from the classifier, that is nothing but sequential model, here I'm adding one layer. So here I'm using add. So whatever the layer you want to add, you want to add that layer by using dense attribute. So here in the dense function, here I am specifying the output dimensionality, that is nothing but it is the size of hidden layer. And so as I already told you, different weight initialization measures in the previous class, that is nothing but we have Gloret here weight normalization method, he weight normalization method, uniform weight normalization method. I explained you those formulas also. So here I want to initialize the weights by using uniform distribution. I want to assign random weights by using uniform distribution criterion. So after that, as I already told you, whenever you want to apply the activation function for the hidden function, hidden layer, so here to avoid the vanishing gradient problem, we need to consider ReLU as an activation function. So here I'm using ReLU activation function. And here I'm specifying input dimensionality. Input dimensionality is nothing but in our data set, how many features we consider? We consider 3 to 13. That is nothing but 10 input neurons we consider. So here we have 10 inputs. So if you observe this data set, so here we saw the 10 features, right? So if you observe this data set, here we have completely 3 to 13 is nothing but we have 10 columns. So here we consider 10 columns as an input. So here we need to specify the input size. So whenever you want to specify the input size, here we need to use input dimensions. That is nothing but we are considering 11 neurons. So out of 11 neurons, 10 neurons are input neurons. So here 10 units are 10 dimensions for input neurons and 1 unit for bias term. That is nothing but constant term. So here we are specifying these many inputs and we are specifying activation and weight initialization method by using init function. And after that, we are specifying output dimensionality. So we need not to specify this input dimensionality. Why? Because based on the input features, it will consider input features directly. So here it is giving us feature warnings. So which kind of warning it is giving? So here it is giving warning like, so here this output dimensions will be changed to units. In the recent version of TensorFlow, it will be changed to units. So here if you replace this thing with units, so here I'm replacing this thing with units to avoid that future warnings. So here I'm replacing this thing with units. So here I want to specify hidden layer size as 6 neurons. After that I'm initializing same thing. So after that, so here kernel initializer. So here this init will be replaced with this kernel initializer in recent model. So in the recent version, so one update will become. So this is the update. So here init will be replaced with kernel initializer. If you replace this thing, so we won't get that future warning also. So here we are not getting that future warning. So here output is, so this units is nothing but it is the size of the hidden layer. It is the size of the first hidden layer and it is a weight initialization measure. After that, we are applying activation function. Sorry, after that, we are specifying input dimensionality. We need not to specify this parameter. By default, based on the input columns, it will assign this thing. So after this, I want to add one more hidden layer. So let us assume, so if you don't know about this dense function syntax, what we need to do after executing this portion, if you click on shift tab, so if you click on shift tab, it will return the complete description of this specific dense function. So here, so by default, if you don't specify the kernel initializer, it follows the Gloret uniform distribution to initialize the weights. So here, Gloret uniform distribution. So I gave the formula for that thing also in the previous session by taking simple neuron. Once by taking single neuron, I explained you this thing how it assigns the random weights. So go through that video if you don't watch that video. So here it is about this dense function syntax. So here, so I have, so here I will construct this graph. So in the graph, so whiteboard, I will construct this thing. So here we have inputs. So here we have inputs. So in the inputs, how many layers we have? So here we have 12 neurons. So here in the input layer, we have 12 neurons. Like that, it will form 11 neurons. So first one is it is bias stem, and remaining 10 are the inputs. So here let us assume these are the 12 neurons. After that, we added first hidden layer. So for the first hidden layer, we consider only 6 neurons. So here we specified the output size, that is nothing but units. Units are nothing but hidden layer size only. So here we specified 6. That means it will form 6 neurons at the hidden layer. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will consider this many 6 neurons at the hidden layer. Whereas we have inputs like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 11 inputs, 11 features. So out of 11 features, so first one is the bias unit, and remaining 10 are the different features. So here it is about different construction. After this, I want to add one more hidden layer. So here, whenever you want to add hidden layer, again we need to use in the sequential, we need to use add method. In this add method, yeah, I will explain that thing here. So here again we need to use add method. So here I'm again saying 6 only. So whenever you say 6 means, again I'm adding one more hidden layer, and here I'm saying size of the hidden layer as 6 neurons, and here I'm weight initializing measure I'm considering as uniform only. So after that, I am considering activation as ReLU activation function. So here here I did same thing by using recent ways. So here I am encoding this thing. So after encoding this data, so here we splitted our data set. Here we initialize it, our data set. After initializing the data type, what we need to do? So here from the TensorFlow, we need to specify output we need as well as activation function. That is more than enough. So if you don't specify the kernel initializer, by default it will be considered as Gloret uniform, as we already saw that thing. So if you want to specify the different weight initialization measure, you can specify that specific weight initialization measure. So if you want to add one more hidden layer, so how to add that thing? So here again we need to use dense function. In it we need to specify the units. That is nothing but output size. That is nothing but number of hidden neurons you want to consider. You need to specify that thing. So after that, again I'm using same activation function, that is ReLU. So after that, I want to add output layer. So after these 3 layers, I want to add one output layer. Here I'm adding one output layer. So here I added one output layer. So after adding out this output layer, how many units I am considering? Only one unit I am considering. So here if you see this thing, what we did here, we added 2 hidden layers with the 6 neurons. So here also we are considering 6 neurons only. After this, so here we added 2 hidden neurons. So after that, we are adding one output neurons by using dense function only. So here it is our output neurons. So whereas coming to here, we are using activation functions are ReLU activation functions. Whereas coming to this thing here, I'm using activation functions are sigmoid activation function. Here I'm using sigmoid activation function based on this neuron. So based on this neuron's probability, we need to predict whether the person stayed in the bank, exited the bank or stayed in the bank. We need to predict this outcome based on the last output layer. So here very simple way. So if you understand the theory, you can easily analyze this information. So here, whenever you want to add any layer, we need to use dense attribute. So here I'm using dense. Here I'm using dense. So here I added two layers. So these 2 layers are hidden layers. So for that purpose, I am using activation as ReLU, and it is the output layer. For the output, I am using sigmoid. So if it is a classification problem, And if it is a binary classification problem, better to go with activation function or sigmoid. So if it is a multiple categorical problem, so if you have multiple categories, more than 2 categories, better to go with the softmax activation function. In place of sigmoid, better to go with the softmax function. So here, for the traditional approach also, I did same thing. So here, I initialized the output layer. After initializing that thing, so here, we need to fit our training data to our machine. So here, whenever you want to fit the data, we need to use fit method only. So here in the fit method, we need to specify training as well as extraining data as well as output training data. After that, here I am using batch gradient descent method. So here I want to converge to the optimum cost. We need to have optimum cost. So for that purpose, to train the machine, every time I am considering 10 features. That means from the training data, every time I want to consider 10 samples at a time. So for that purpose, here I'm specifying batch size as 10. So here I'm saying batch size as 10. After that, we are specifying number of epochs. Number of epochs are nothing but number of iterations. So here rename it to epochs. So here previously we have NB epoch. So here that will be replaced with epoch in the recent version. So here, so if you keep this thing, it won't return any warning to you. So here it is not returning any warning to us. So before this thing, we need to do this step. We need to execute this step. So after executing the step, we need to execute this portion. So here on recognized command epoch. So here epoch is okay. Done. So sorry. So here I'm running this portion only. So whenever, so here I did same thing, whereas by using updated version, I did this thing. So here after adding output layer, what we need to do, we need to fit our model. So here, yeah, we fitted our model there. So after fitting model, what we need to do, we need to, so here we fitted this model somewhere. Yeah, done. So here, yeah, after fitting the model, what we need to do, we need to compile our ANN. So here we need to compile our artificial neural network. Whenever you want to compile artificial neural network, we need to use compile method. In the compile method, so I want to go with the back propagation, right? Whenever you want to go with the back propagation, we have gradient descent approach, batch normalize, sorry, gradient descent, stochastic gradient descent, and batch gradient descent. We have different approaches. Like that, we have ADAM method also. So here it is a very best method to go with the back propagation. Adam is nothing but, so as I already told you in the intuition session also, so whenever, so what happens if you take different learning rates to convergence to the global minima. So for that purpose, here it is a very appropriate or very best method. So here I'm using optimizer as Adam optimizer, and here I'm using loss function as a binary cross entropy function. Here I'm using loss function as a binary cross entropy function. So here whenever you go with the categorical data binary classification problem, better to go with the binary cross entropy function. So whereas if you are using multiple categorical problem, here you need to specify the categorical cross entropy function. So whereas here our problem is a classification problem. So there I am considering metrics as an accuracy. So if you want to know about this compile function, here I am again typing on shift tab. So whenever you click on shift tab, it will return all the parameters corresponding to this compile method. So in the compile method, we have optimizer. So by default, optimizer is a RMS propagation. So here I told you while explaining the convergence of the gradient descent to the global minima. So we have gradient descent approach as well as batch normalization approach. So whenever you go with the gradient descent approach, it will converge to the global minima very quickly. Whereas if you have more features in your training data, if you have lot of features, it will take lot of so more time to process all the features. So on such cases, what we are doing, we are forming batches. So we are considering all the features as batches. After that, we are applying mini batch stochastic gradient descent. So here on that, we are facing problem with the slow convergence. So there we are facing problem of slow convergence. To converge to the global minima, it will take lot of time. So to avoid that problem, here we have RMS propagation. To avoid that slow convergence problem in mini batch stochastic gradient descent, we have RMS propagation. So if you want to search about this thing in the Google, you will get complete information regarding this thing. So here it is about compile method. So after compiling this thing, what we need to do? So here I'm closing this thing. So after this, after so here after compiling this thing, we need to update the weights randomly. So here we need to fit our model. So after compiling this thing, we need to fit our model. So here I'm fitting the data. So here while fitting the data, here I'm specifying, we need to specify X train as well as Y train. And here we need to specify batch size. Batch size is nothing but for each and every iteration, how many samples you want to consider. Batch size is nothing but how many columns, how many rows you want to consider for each and every iteration. So here I want to consider 32 rows for each and every iteration to update the weights. And I want to consider, I want to back propagate 100 number of times to get a best accuracy. I want to update the weights for 100 number of times. So for that, here I'm using epoch attribute. So here I am running this portion. So here it starts iterating. So here it will update the weights for 100 times. Sorry, not 100 times. Yeah, it will update the weights for 100 times. So here it will start updating. So it will take approximately 1 minute of time. So why means so to back propagate and to update the weights, it will take few minutes, a few seconds of time. So still it is running. So after this, finally we will get some accuracy with this deep learning or a artificial neural network. So here still it is running. So if you further process this thing, it will return output till 86% mostly. So here, if you observe this thing, accuracy will be improved. So madam will forward you the one more link, join onto that session. So I will explain you two more project in the next session. So here it is about training the data, training ANN. So after training ANN, it will return accuracy. So it will return. So still it is running. Yeah, good. So yeah, still it is running. So it needs to execute 100 times. So here it is executed successfully.